I don't even think he's dead.
Oh. Hi, Joe Exotic. How are you?
What the hell are you doing?
I am just, getting ready to talk some shit about Erica Kirk. How are you? Okay, so I just got off the phone with the Joe Exotic. We've got a lot to unpack. Joe Exotic and I first connected on the internet because he was in my comments saying Erica Kirk ordered the hit. And he's like, takes one to know one. So we obviously had to get on the phone. I have many missed calls from the federal prison, so we've been trying to link up. Finally got it done today. And what he said really introduces a lot of new theories into this conversation, and we're going to get right into it.
That's a whole subject of its own, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. So you think she ordered the hit? Tell me why.
I don't even think he's dead.
Oh.
I think it's all just bullshit in order to make money and distract America and the world from other stuff. Okay, because let me explain myself, right? I used to be a police chief at the age of 19, right? And before that, I was a paramedic for 30 years. But when I started as a paramedic back in 1982 and 1980, the ambulances were still majoritarily owned by funeral homes. Okay, so whenever you weren't on an ambulance call, you were embalming and taking care of dead bodies. All right. So let's take one of the most famous and televised crime scenes. All right, that never called an ambulance in the first place. They took him in a private car.
Did they?
Yeah.
A private car. They didn't put him in an ambulance.
No.
That's nuts.
Okay. Then they took him to the hospital, where they supposedly pronounced him dead. Then they sent him to the medical examiners, where they supposedly said that the bullet was lodged between his vertebrae. Okay. But all of the videos that they showed on television, the bullet came out his neck.
Oh, yeah.
That's where all the blood came from.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's at the medical examiners to go through all that. Then he goes to the funeral home and gets prepared and put in a casket. And then on Air Force 2, of all things, and flown to Arizona. And this is all done in less than 24 hours. Bullshit. It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, it doesn't quite add up.
No. Okay, there's no way that he got shot, no ambulance, to the hospital, pronounced dead, to any medical examiners, the coroner's office, to a funeral home, in a casket, on Air Force 2, in less than 24 hours. Even John F. Kennedy didn't get done that fast. Okay. How long does it take a senator or a congressman to have a funeral?
I don't know.
And Charlie Kirk's was in 24 hours?
So his service was that quick? When did Erica do the touching hand moment thing?
That was in less than a week.
Yeah, it was a quick turn.
Yeah, no, this is all bullshit, dude. You know how many millions of dollars they made at his so-called
stupid money,
whatever the hell it was?
Yeah.
Bukus of money. Bukus of money.
Bukus. And real quick, I'm Lauren Parishra. If you're new here, we currently have a lead on Katie Miller, who is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the pale white nationalist from Santa Monica. We've got to maintain our lead. We fully bootstrap this work and this podcast. Katie Miller is building hers on the backs of trafficked immigrants. So we got to maintain our lead out of principle. So every sub, every hype, every comment, every like, share, save, every action you take, comment 6 words or more, consider that a direct FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller.
No, I didn't fall for that to start with, because my experience of being a cop, first of all, the little black spot on Charlie's shirt was missing right after the explosion.
Yeah.
And then if he got shot in the neck, his shirt wouldn't have jumped that much. Especially, you have to remember, the thing that I remember the most going through the police academy was my instructor doctor had me stand there, and he threw a bullet at me and hit me in the chest with it.
Like out of a gun or just like a hand?
Out of his hand.
Okay.
He said the first thing that you have to remember on any kind of a gunshot victim,
this call is from a federal prison,
is it doesn't make you fall backwards or forwards or do flips like it does on TV or shit. That bullet is traveling so fast, you don't even really know you've been shot until afterwards. And if you watch the videos that I watched on TV, on TMZ, and all the news when it was everything you saw, was his T-shirt, like, jumps a half a foot.
Yeah.
When he gets shot in the neck. It didn't even affect his shirt. So I really think that they had blood packs underneath his shirt.
Oh. Oh, that's a theory I haven't heard before. That's a good one.
I still don't think he's dead. I don't think he's dead. There was too much blood. His shirt jumped. The black spot on his shirt was gone after the explosion. I don't think he's dead. I think this is all set up, and your little guy that's in jail is going to disappear or die in jail just like Epstein did. So that way they can put an end to it.
And then Erica Kirk's just being a shady bitch for the hell of it then. Or for her social gain. So this is actually a notable part of the story. There was no ambulance on standby at this event, and Kirk was not transported by ambulance. So after the shooting, I had to go back and confirm this. Video footage shows Kirk being carried by 6 men to an SUV, which drove him to a local hospital. Event planning records released by UVU show that when asked, will EMS need to be scheduled for the event, the form was filled out by simply saying no. A Turning Point USA official confirmed that there were 2 UVU emergency medical personnel on site, but not an ambulance. So a spokesperson for Turning Point USA claimed to have spoken to a surgeon who said that the bullet did not exist. Frank Turek, who was present near Kirk, described a chaotic response after Kirk was shot, and security and staff drove 4 miles to the hospital with the door open, performing CPR and frantically calling out to him. An eyewitness at the scene noted it was nearly 10 minutes before an ambulance showed up, and supporting officers did not arrive until like 6 or 7 minutes after the. So medical experts weighed in on this. I went and had to talk to professionals after talking to one professional, Joe Exotic, and they weighed in on whether this made any of a difference. An anatomy expert stated this to the people, saying if there had been an ambulance on the scene or he had gotten proper medical care, the outcome would have been different. That is not the case. He could have been in an emergency room and the outcome would have been the same. He was ultimately brought to Timpango's regional hospital where he was pronounced dead. A lot of theories out there, a lot of things, including the black dot, things that just don't add up. Okay, we're going to be back with more because we got to dig in here. This is so much to uncover. Make sure you're subscribed, turn notifications on, follow us across social. I am Lauren P. We're all social, across all social channels, and soon across audio and podcasting. So look out for me where you get your podcasts on Apple and Spotify, and we will not stop digging in here, and we'll be back with more.